This is a chance to rethink what you're doing. We know you're in a tough spot. We know that the system and your leaders tell you you're doing the right thing, but you're going to learn later on that it wasn't, you know, and it's hard to live with.
I'm a retired U.S. Army Reserve Colonel and a former U.S. diplomat who resigned in 2003 in opposition to the war in Iraq. I'm here at Creech Drone Base, Creech Assassin Drone Base, to express my concern about the use of these assassin drones by the United States in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Iraq, Syria, Libya, and the danger to the U.S. national security that these assassin drones cause. It is a weapon system that is particularly infuriating to young men and women, particularly in the Muslim and Arab world, that are willing to take actions against the United States based on the use of these assassin drones.
Lots of innocent people are being killed, but even those that aren't killed, the whole way drones work in that they circle an area for basically 24/7. They're constantly in the air, and the populations on the ground have no idea if they're going to be a target to these drones. So it's basically terrorizing these populations.
You know about the drones. If you don't know, drones are controlled by computers. So we have military personnel in their computer room pushing buttons that activate the drone in another country like the Middle East, where drones have been known to kill many civilians, including children and families, innocently victims, and sometimes they've even had reported children, their arms are flying in the air, their parts of their body are flying in the air, not uncommon.
In fact, since Obama came, the frequency of drone attacks increased, I don't know, tenfold. There were like 40 drone attacks during Bush's 4 years. The first was in 2004. But then Obama came and he just, it's like every other week or every week, sometimes twice a week, they bomb people, drone attack, and people gather, pick up the pieces of the people who've been killed to bury them. The second time they come on the funeral procession. Their purpose is totally to kill people.
I'm a grandma and I have a 1 and 2 year old granddaughters, almost 2 and 3. I saw the photographs of these little babies with their heads blown off that were drone victims. To me, you know, they have moms. I could identify that pain. This is not an okay thing to do under any circumstances. It doesn't matter if you killed the high-levelist guy and you killed a baby or a 15-year-old in the process. That's absolutely unacceptable. And that was the thing that drew me into this movement.
We are reaching out to you because we understand the position you are in. We were once caught in that position ourselves, some of us quite recently. We know what it feels like to be caught up in a strange and brutal wars not of our own making and not clearly in the interests of our nation. We want to share some of our hard-won truths and offer to you our support. We know that drone operators and support personnel have a tough job. We understand that you are not playing video games, but rather engaging in life and death situations on a daily basis. You are not targeted and don't have to worry about being killed and wounded. But you are human beings with feelings who suffer nonetheless. You have a conscience too. It is not normal or healthy for human beings to kill other human beings. Many veterans continue to suffer from PTSD and moral injury for the rest of their lives.
The reason I'm here is because this is America's brand of terrorism. I've long considered drones terrorism, as well as our other actions we do around the world. But we have a war on terror, but we actually are warring against the whole damn world. I mean, we're making people angry, and we're just trying to perpetuate constant violence and war. I mean, This has to stop because it just can't go on.
It just seems reasonable to me that the use of drones under any circumstances cannot be consistent with international law. We invade other countries' airspace, and we target and kill citizens of other countries without a declaration of war, and I don't consider the perpetual war on terror to be a declaration of war that justifies any type of killing. So the reason I get involved in these events, and particularly with regard to drones, is I believe that the use of drones and the American perpetual war policy is morally reprehensible. And I can't see any justification or any rationale that would support me standing by and not doing anything I can possibly do to bring that to the attention of other people within my community. I'm an advocate that the world is a global community. We have to work out international problems as a global community, and it's not the place of the United States to be killing other people all over the globe because we believe that they're acting illegally.
I've known for some time that the drone pilots for the U.S. Air Force have been flying 12-hour days, and knew that they probably couldn't do this if they were civilians, but in the military they can work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you were in the civilian workforce, you'd have to be given some time off in order to recover. And I hadn't put together, though, until I went to see the play here in Las Vegas the other night about Down, a drone pilot that was taken and couldn't fly anymore because of PTSD, and realized that they're flying 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, certainly when they're working that much, they're going to have accidents. They're going to make mistakes.
The terrorists they go after have long been gone, if they were ever. So who are they killing? Innocent people, innocent civilians. And they say drones are precision, instruments, the precision attacks. But that's not true. They kill. It's called target killing, or people who look like terrorists, like long beard and baggy clothes. This is their culture. And the Afghan people, people in Pakistan too, they carry guns. That's their culture. So anybody could be like a terrorist here. So who are the terrorists? The people in Pakistan believe, and in fact, the real terrorists are the bombers. The United States.
We are in this together. Our hearts are with the people who are victimized by the drones and who continue to be so every day. And we must stand firm with our message and with our lives to be against anybody that tries to take away lives of others, particularly the children, particularly those who are most vulnerable. We have to do that.
This is what I do. This is my job. This is my job, killing people all over the world. The more I bomb, the more enemies we make, the more revenge attacks, the more retaliation against Americans. This is what I do. This is my job. Shut down Creech Air Force Base, stop the killing, stop the bombing.
This is the place where drones are operated all the way over in Afghanistan and Pakistan. The actual operators are sitting right here in Creech, outside of Las Vegas, 60 miles, and we're saying close this base down and for the United States to drop assassin drones as a part of its military policies toward the world.
The CIA runs the program, and we know what kind of people the CIA are. They are the ones responsible for the torture in Afghanistan and other sites that we don't know about around the world. And they are not the kind of people that represent me and that I think should represent our country. Our economy is based on a wartime economy. More than half our taxes go to war, and war is totally unproductive. All it does is make the people who make the armaments rich. I'm for peace. I'm for diplomacy. I'm for talking, shoulder to shoulder. I'm for using our revenues to feed ourselves at home, feed the hungry, and to feed the people who we're now bombing.
They're killing innocents, murdering innocents, and that's not my country and that's not my government. As I'm talking, there's a drone landing. They're doing touch and goes, teaching the young men and women how to fly these machines, and I feel sad for them as human beings, because in their hearts they have the position to be good people or bad people, and it's a choice, and that's what we're here for, just to convince them to get out of the military and join the human race.
I feel like I really don't have much of a contribution except to be a presence right now, and I have a lot to learn. But God, what an honor. What an honor to be with a former colonel, someone who actually has been on the inside and knows, former veterans who've been there, people who have survived it, and young men who have no clue, who were trying to wake up to the killing that they're doing.
And we're using remotely controlled planes to murder people. Lots of people are getting killed, including children, but all the people we're murdering have the right for a trial before they're executed. It's totally unlawful. And so we are saying no to government policies that say other lives don't matter. We say all lives matter, Muslim lives matter, Black lives matter, and we're going to keep coming back to Creech Air Force Base till we shut down the drone wars. We've had enough. It's got to stop. Stop the murder, stop the drone wars, stop global militarism. We want peace.
It's really very painful to hear what the United States and the Western propaganda, the media have made Muslims, like Muslims are 1.5 to 2 billion, somewhere around that number, and they have demonized all of these people. And they have demonized the religion they practice. Those people, Al-Qaeda, ISIS or ISIL or whatever they say, those are not Muslims. Those are terrorist criminals. Those are criminals there, but they call them Muslims. But when somebody else does a terrorist act, they don't call them by their religion. But yes, they are terrorists. Yes, they are criminals. They are drunk people. They are not Muslims. And why are they making close to 2 billion people all terrorists? Anytime there is a crime committed by a Muslim, it's a Muslim, it's Islam, it's a terrorist attack. But they do not say about if a Christian commits any crime, oh, it's a Christian terrorist. Did you ever hear? Oh, it's a Christian terrorist doing this? No. Oh, they are lone nut. They're just now 3 people were murdered in cold blood by a white supremacist. And they've been doing that all over. But nobody says it's a Christian terrorist or it's a Hindu terrorist or any of this. But yes, there is a Muslim terrorist. Islam is evil.
Shut down Creech! Shut down Creech! Shut down Creech! Shut down Creech! Shut down Creech!
They're used to kill people that are being labeled terrorists or a threat to the United States. They haven't really had their day in court. They're basically judged guilty and basically executed. And in spite of pronouncements by the U.S. government that this is a precise means of killing people they consider enemies, it is nowhere near precise. A recent independent study said that only 1 out of 28 people killed with drones are really known at the time of the killing who they are.
This last spring it was leaked that the CIA's drone assassination program, which is officially a separate operation from the Air Force's, has been piloted all along by Creech's super secret Squadron 17.
The drone operators are being debilitated by their, by the work that they do. And we're learning something about the psychic damage of war that we didn't know before, because these men and women who are depressed, committing suicide, facing addiction, who, some can never, can't sleep without medication, and who relive the horrors of the war, are not people such as previous generations who had suffered from facing tremendous privations and cruelty and ill treatment, living in the trenches, near starvation. They've never been in a prison camp. Their military service is spent in a Naugahyde Barker lounger and watching a screen like people who work for insurance companies and all kinds of businesses around the country. Their physical situation is no different from most Americans, and yet they're suffering from this moral damage.
The letter that we're trying to hand out here is a message from Veterans for Peace, for us as veterans, to these active duty people, that we understand the situation that we're in. We were all in that situation. Those of us who were in Vietnam, those of us who were in Iraq, those of us who were in Iran and Afghanistan, we understand what they're facing. And we're asking them to reflect on what they're doing, the way some of us didn't take the time to do that till we were out, until it was over. And then we began to feel the guilt, and we began to understand the impact that the U.S. military is having around the world. What we're asking them to do is just to open their hearts and minds to the message that we're trying to give to them, and to reflect on what they're doing. And that if they think, like I think many of them do deep down, that this is not where they want to be, we can help them to get rid of what they have to do. We can help them find ways to remedy the situation that they're in. And we'd be happy to do that.
I have a lot of shame. That that I live with. So it gives me a lot of heart to come out with my brothers and sisters of all ages. We've got some teenagers here, and young people that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan occupations, and it gives us heart as people that have participated in illegal warfare.
I come here in supporting Veterans for Peace and Code Pink. I have a Code Pink button on me. I'm really inspired by the actions that these groups do, because these are people who are taking to heart their desire to see a planet that's here for generations to come. We have apparently a system in place that's just out of control, because we're doing endless wars. We're going into countries with drones and killing people, and yet we're not even at war with those countries. It's just out of hand. And then our own soldiers come out of this and they feel so distraught that we have about 22 veterans committing suicide every day. We're messing with their minds. We're messing with the other countries, with their people, with their resources. It's to make money for our corporations. But the number one thing, we're destroying our planet, and our species is not going to survive if we keep this up.
Tell them what we're marching for. Ground the drones and stop the war.
One of the former drone operators who's been speaking out describes how, as for days and maybe weeks on end, he had the assignment that he would do his 12-hour shift, and we'd sit in the chair. He was assigned to watch two men watch everything that they do. And then at the end of his shift, he would get up from his chair and somebody else would take it and continue to follow them day and night, days on end. He would come back the next day and take over for his shift and watch these people. And after quite a long time, the order came. He was told that he needed to shoot and kill these two men. And he says he saw nothing himself to make him think that they were insurgents or any danger to anyone. But other people are watching the same video feed. And somebody in the CIA or somewhere in the military chain of command saw something, said, oh, these are bad guys. And he was ordered to kill them, and kill them he did. He said, I never saw anything to make me think that they were a threat to the United States, but I did see enough to know that they were good dads. And he was losing sleep over this. And I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in killing anybody, but I do understand a gigantic difference between killing somebody who's shooting at you and killing somebody who's 7,000 miles away, who could never be a threat to me or the people I love.
Drone pilots, please refuse to fly.